Now we're back once again with a new franchise. We have the Fresno Force here, and like every new franchise I bring into the NHL, it's only 0 overalls. We have a ton of 0 overalls here, but we're going to do the impossible. We're going to win a Stanley Cup, but for every win we get, we're adding one player to the team. So you might be immediately thinking, stick on the ice, that makes absolutely no sense. You are not going to win a game with this team right here. You are full of all 0 overall players. And that is correct. But technically, we're going to be adding players to the team even without winning games. Let me explain. Like, we can make this really simple on ourselves. Just go to the NHL, find the Edmonton Oilers, and add Connor McDavid to the team. Just like that, we could probably win a game. However, we're not doing that. Instead, we're going to be adding a player to this team, but not from the NHL, from the WHL, or from the QMJHL, or from the OHL. These are the 3 options we have for adding players to the team until we can start winning some games. Now, when it comes to juniors, there's going to be some decent options available. Like Michael Mies is a 75 overall. He'd be a great player to start with. Hemming's a 70 overall. Porter Martone's a 75 overall. But the guy that we're going to be starting with is going to be Easton Cowan. Never mind, he's a 74. Why did I think he was higher than a 74 overall? Okay, we actually might not start with Easton Cowan here. I think we're going to start with Michael Misa. So Michael Misa, welcome to the team. A 75 overall is going to be added, and with this 75 overall and Michael Misa, he has to somehow help us win a game. This is going to be impossible. So Michael Misa, you're going to be the first player brought to the team, a 75 overall. You're going to be surrounded with all these 0 overall players, and I'm going to need you to help us win a game this season. Actually, scratch that. I don't need you to help this team win a game. I need you to help this team take one shot, because even with you, I don't think we're taking a single shot this season. So let's just immediately jump into this absolute disaster of what we're going to call a season here. Like, we're going to allow about 3,000 goals. We're probably allowing at least 20 goals per game. But while we lose every game and get completely blown out, if you haven't already, of course, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 86K by the end of the month, and if you don't subscribe to the channel, we won't be able to do that. So hit the button down below right now. Now, I don't think anyone's surprised here, but the Fresno Force aren't going to be winning any games this season. It's an 0-82 record. We're not scoring any goals, and what a surprise, Michael Misa, he's not even going to take a single shot this season. 0 shots were recorded for this team. Michael Misa was minus 475. It's an absolute disaster here. We have absolutely nothing to look forward to. We're just going to be losing game after game after game. Now you might be thinking, there's one simple way to make this challenge significantly easier for yourself. Just add a goaltender to the team. Add a really good WHL goaltender or add a really good OHL goaltender, and that would solve your problem. But this is the Stick on the Ice channel. We can't make things that simple. So of course, we have a wheel. Goalie or nah. We have a 10% chance at adding a goaltender to the team, but we're not going to be getting one here. It's time to add another forward or another defenseman. But as you can see, we're in the WHL, so that only means one thing. There's only one guy that we can select here, and that player is Matthew Ward. What do you know about Matthew Ward? No, this is a Stick on the Ice legend right here. One of the OG Stick on the Ice legends. If you know, you know. You probably don't know because I've never mentioned him in a video, but Matthew Ward, welcome to the team. An absolute no-brainer. We just got a future superstar. Now, you definitely don't know the Matthew Ward lore because I have never explained it on the channel, and I'm not going to explain it today. You are just going to have to wonder what that lore is about. Him and Michael Misa on our top line. We're probably going 82-0, to be honest. Now, it's unfortunate that the absolute dog in Matthew Ward wasn't able to help us win games this season, but we did score 4 goals. 4 goals this season. Of course, Michael Misa is going to lead the team. He's going to be picking up 4 points. Matthew Ward, 1 goal and 3 assists for 4 points. What can I say? Bro's him. Unfortunately, though, we still aren't going to be winning a Stanley Cup this season. I actually think our defense was worse this season, even though we replaced a 0 overall player with Matthew Ward, but that's just the way it goes. The Toronto Maple Leafs are Stanley Cup champions. Yeah, good one. Ain't no way we saw an all-Canadian conference finals. The Winnipeg Jets losing to the Oilers, Toronto beating the Ottawa Senators, and then Toronto beating Edmonton. Yeah, things have gotten out of hand. Now, before we add another player to the team, I guess we should find out if we're going to be adding a goaltender. It doesn't look like it. Now, we've taken a player from the WHL and we've taken a player from the OHL, so it only seems fair if we pick up a player from Quebec, and this is an absolute no-brainer. Justin Carbonneau, welcome to the St. Louis Blues, and welcome to the Fresno Force. You're going to be the next player added. So we're going to have Michael Misa playing center, Matthew Ward at left wing, Justin Carbonneau at right wing. Unfortunately, these guys are still surrounded by 0 overall players, so I don't even think we're going to get an overtime loss this season. So we had ourselves a complete first line, but that's not going to mean too much. We're scoring 10 goals this season, but 10 goals isn't going to win us a game. It's not even going to get us into overtime. Michael Misa, 9 points this season. Matthew Ward, 9 points. Justin Carbonneau, 3 goals, 4 assists for 7 points. All of these points are coming on the power play, by the way. We still can't score 5-on-5, but that shouldn't be much of a surprise. The Dallas Stars are going to be Stanley Cup champions. That's a bit more realistic. Beating Florida, though, I'm not too sure about that one. So we're going to have to keep on spinning this wheel right here. Eventually, I'm hoping we can add a goaltender, because a goaltender will be a massive upgrade for us, but it doesn't look like we're going to get that here. Now, I want to make sure that we had a couple forwards on the team before I brought in a defenseman, because you're probably wondering, why did I select Michael Misa over the guy that actually went first overall in Matthew Schaefer? Well, I wanted to make sure that Matthew Schaefer had a couple pieces around him once I added him to the team, and you know what? We have that right now. So Matt Schaefer, welcome. Matthew Schaefer, welcome to the team. 75 overall defenseman. You're going to be our #1 defenseman for a while here, probably until we bring some NHL players in. But you know what? A 75 isn't too bad. He's going to play his role here. Now, Matthew Schaefer actually helped us quite a bit. We're up to 21 goals scored for the entire season. That's going to be 0.26 goals per game. That is still terrible. You know what else was terrible? The St. Louis Blues record, because I saw they were second last in the entire league, but that's beside the point. Michael Misa, 18 points. Matt Schaefer, 12. Matthew Ward, 11. Justin Carbonneau, he's picking up 11 as well. This team is a long ways away from winning one game, let alone a Stanley Cup. Meanwhile, the Toronto Maple Leafs have now won 2 in this video. How does that work? But you know what? All of that could change with one spin right here. Can we add a goaltender? No, we can't. 5 spins in and no goalie. So I think ideally we try to bring another defenseman to the team, and we're actually going to be going back to the OHL for this guy. We're going to head over to the London Knights, and Sam Dickinson's going to be joining. So Sam Dickinson, Matt Schaefer are going to be our #1 pairing. We're building a pretty solid junior team right here. The only problem is we're competing against NHL teams. So clearly this team's not going to be quite good enough. So we have our #1 defensive pairing, Matthew Schaefer and Sam Dickinson, 2 elite potential players right here. Unfortunately, they're not going to be developing, so they're just going to be staying at a 75 and a 74, but we can work with that. Okay, I think at this point we have to stop looking at the standings, not because of what the Fresno Force is doing, because of what my St. Louis Blues are doing. Why are you constantly letting me down? NHL 25 hates this team. I don't know what it is, but there is a better chance of that team finishing bottom 3 in the NHL than making the postseason. And that's just not right. They are disrespecting my team, and I won't stand for it. Our junior players were all right this season. I mean, nothing spectacular from them, but we need a goaltender, and we need a goalie desperately. Both of our goalies had a goals against above 18. Yeah, that's not going to win you a game. That's not even going to get you into an overtime game. The Winnipeg Jets are Stanley Cup champions. Please give me a goaltender. They would be a game changer. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel once again. Are we finally going to be adding a goaltender? No, that's just not right. That is not right whatsoever. We're not getting one here. We needed half a second longer of spin time and we would have had one, but nope, we're going to select either another forward or a defenseman. So with our last 2 spins, we selected a player from the OHL. It's time to head over to the WHL, and this is a no-brainer. Roger McQueen, welcome to the team. 75 overall. If this guy can stay healthy, he's going to be a great player for the Ducks. Also, I want to point this out. Jordan Gavin went undrafted. I know Jordan Gavin's no superstar or anything, but you're telling me no team picked him in the 5th, 6th, or 7th round? Like, especially in the 7th round, like, definitely take a flyer on Jordan Gavin. What's the worst that can happen? Bro's got some potential for sure. I don't know why he didn't get drafted. Now, this might seem really disrespectful to Matthew Ward, sending him down to the 2nd line, but I'd just rather have Roger McQueen ahead of him. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. Matthew Ward's still a stick on the ice legend though, one of the biggest stick on the ice legends. He'll never be forgotten. This is ridiculous. You're telling me in the last simulation they were the 2nd worst team in the entire league. Now they're winning 51 games. No, the St. Louis Blues are bipolar. It doesn't make sense. The Fresno Force, once again, 0-82, 33 goals this season, so we're slowly working our way to half a goal per game. Roger McQueen, I wasn't really expecting you to completely turn this team around because there's still way too many 0 overall players here, and we have a 0 overall goaltender, and honestly, that's probably the biggest one. Until we get a junior goaltender here, we're really not going to be doing too much. Like, we could average 8 goals per game, and we probably still wouldn't win because we're allowing 20. Those numbers just don't work. The LA Kings are going to be taking down the New York Rangers in 7 games. Please give me a goalie here. A goaltender would be an absolute game changer right now. Just give me a goalie or don't. I guess we can bring another forward or defenseman to the team. Now, we haven't selected a player from Quebec in a while, and there is a reason for that, because they do not have that many high overall players. Caleb Desnoyers, you're probably one of the best options here, so I'm going to go with you. Or I could go with a player who's 2 overalls lower, but he's a St. Louis Blues prospect. We're actually not going to do that. Caleb Desnoyers, I think you're actually probably the best option. Now, our team's slowly turning into something. Like, our first line is all 70 overall players. Our second line only has 1 0 overall here. When it comes to our next selection, though, I haven't decided between a defenseman or a forward. Like, we add another forward to the team, then we have 2 complete lines. However, if we add another defenseman to the team, then we have half our defense complete. I don't think it matters who we go with, as long as we get a goaltender. Because at the end of the day, we can bring about 8 more forwards and 6 more defensemen to this team. Until we get a goalie, we're not going to be winning. Alright, plain and simple, this season was an absolute disaster class. We scored 34 goals. We're actually getting worse here. We're not even trending in the right direction anymore. We're getting worse. Michael Misa led the team with 19 points. That is not good. 19 points is not going to help us at all here. We need you averaging probably 40 points a season right now. The Rangers are Stanley Cup champions. They went 16-3 in the postseason. What is going on right now? I can tell you what's about to happen though. We're about to add a goaltender to the team, or we're going to get let down again. What a surprise. Now, as much as I want to make this the most complicated decision in the world and really debate who we're going to be selecting here, it does not matter. It doesn't matter if we bring a forward to the team or a defenseman. We're going to go with a forward though, because it's going to be Cade Lindstrom, and he's now the highest overall on this team. I should have added him a while ago, but you know what? We had to take Matthew Ward first. That was a no-brainer. So he's picked up a big-time player in Cade Lindstrom. Is he going to make the difference here? Probably not, because we're still going to be allowing 15 goals per game, because we have these 2 guys in between the pipes, Ricky Lafleur and Eric Cartman. With these guys here, we're not going to be seeing a lot of success. But what am I talking about? Those are 2 of the greats right there. I should put a bit of respect on their names. So once again, it's not much of a surprise. The Fresno Force, one of the worst teams in the entire league. We actually were the worst, but 67 goals this season is a great sign. We're almost up to a goal per game. What am I talking about? We have to win a game here. We're not even scoring a goal per game, and I'm starting to think this team's going to be able to win a game. What am I talking about? We are in the absolute trenches with this team, but it's about to change because we're going to bring a goalie to the team. We need a goaltender desperately. I have mentioned this 9 million times so far. Give me a goalie. We can't stay in these trenches forever. Eventually, we're going to bring in a goaltender, but it doesn't look like quite yet. We're about to add our 8th player to the team, and that player is still not a goalie. Now, with our last pickup, we went over to the Medicine Hat Tigers and brought Cade Lindstrom to the team. We're going to be sticking in the WHL here, as Carter Yakimchuk's going to be the next addition. A 73 overall defenseman is going to be pretty big for us, but you know what would be even bigger? A goaltender. Just give me a goalie. So we got ourselves 3 70 overall defensemen here, but we have 3 0 overall defensemen. And you know what else we have? 0 overall goaltenders. We need one. Like, desperately. Now, although we're continuing to improve our team here, we just haven't improved the goaltending, and that's what's going to continue to hold us back here. We need a superstar goaltender. I don't even know if there's any superstars available in juniors. I know Ravensburg's going to be available, Carter George is going to be available, but I shouldn't expect us to bring like an 80 overall goaltender to the team, because that's not going to be possible. We're going to be looking at like a 72, 73 overall goaltender. We're not looking at any superstars here. The Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup champions, but it's time to add one of these elite players. Now, we desperately need a goaltender. Without a goaltender, we're probably never going to win any games. Finally, we have a chance at winning a game. Probably not, but you know what? We might be able to lose a game in overtime. Now, we've finally been blessed with a goaltender here. It has taken far too long, but we're bringing a goaltender to the team. I forget what team he plays for. The Owen Sound Attack. Carter George, welcome to the team. A 70 overall goaltender. That might make the difference. So we have ourselves a top 6. We have 3 defensemen, but more importantly, we have a goaltender now. 70 overall Carter George. Can you somehow pull off a miracle here and get me 1 overtime loss? I'm not even asking for a win right now. Just give me 1 overtime loss. Alright, based on a couple games so far to start the season, a win actually might be possible here, because there's been a few games where we've only lost by 2 goals. There's other games where we lose by 11 goals, but there's been a few where we've only lost by 2, so it is possible. A miracle has happened. An absolute miracle has happened here. We lost to the San Jose Sharks in a shootout. We've officially broken the 0-82 curse here. At the very worst, we're going to be 0-81-1. We've finally done it. We haven't lost every single game in regulation. Now, this was an incredible season. We didn't just lose 1 game in a shootout. We actually lost 2. The St. Louis Blues were the second worst team in the entire league. That doesn't matter. We were over a goal per game here. The other team we lost to in a shootout out of all teams in the NHL, the Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl couldn't outscore us in regulation. They couldn't even outscore us in overtime. It took till a shootout for them to beat us. Michael Misa, 43 points, Cade Lindstrom, 39, Roger McQueen, 33. Now, there's one thing I haven't mentioned in this video until this moment right here, because I've been waiting for an overtime loss like this. Now, clearly an overtime loss isn't a win, so we're not going to be bringing an NHL player to the team. However, we are going to be bringing an AHL player to the team. By losing a game in either overtime or a shootout, we're going to be allowed to bring one AHL player to the team, but it has to be a player from a team that we either lost to in overtime or a shootout. So that means we can bring in one player from the AHL. They just have to come from the Vancouver Canucks system or the Edmonton Oilers system. Before we add a player though, we might as well figure out if we're going to be adding a goaltender to the team. Yeah, we're not getting lucky. We're not going to be adding a goaltender in back-to-back spins here. So we can select from either the Bakersfield Condors or the Abbotsford Canucks. Now I'm looking at Sammy Blais here. He's an 80 overall. Yes, he is a grinder, but he's an 80 overall. So I'm willing to look the other way here. When it comes to the Bakersfield Condors, Travis Dermott actually wouldn't be that bad. A 79 overall defenseman. He'd be our number one defenseman here. We would have two complete defensive pairings. You know what? We're going with Travis Dermott over Sammy Blais. Sammy Blais, you might have used to play for the St. Louis Blues, but you know what? We need more defensive help on this team, and Travis Dermott's going to be that guy. So with Travis Dermott, this is what the defense is looking like. We got Dermott and Schaefer on the top pairing, Yakimchuk and Dickinson on the second pairing. Last season, we lost 2 games in a shootout. We could potentially be looking at our first win now. Okay, I don't know how we did it. We won a game, but not only did we win a game here, we shut them out. Utah got shut out by the Fresno Force. We have finally won our first game. We have 6 junior forwards on the team, 6-0 overalls. We have 3 junior defensemen, 1 AHL defenseman, and a junior goaltender. We have 2 0 overall defensemen and a 0 overall goaltender, and we shut out Utah. We're finally going to be adding our first NHL player to the team. I just can't believe it's coming in a shutout. And because we shut that team out, I'm bringing in a goaltender. We're bringing in an NHL goaltender. We earned that. If you're going to shut that team out, you deserve to get, oh my God, we got another shutout. We beat the Pittsburgh Penguins in a shutout. What is going on here? Like, we have 9-0 overalls on this team. We only have 11 players that aren't 0 overalls. And we've already shut out 2 teams. It makes no sense. Now, since we shut out the Utah Hockey Club and the Pittsburgh Penguins, we were able to lose 2 games in either shootout or overtime. But now we're back to winning games here. We're going to be taking down the Montreal Canadiens, our 3rd win of the season. That means we're going to be adding 3 NHL players, and there's still a handful of games left. No, like, this team is really built different. We just beat Seattle. 4 victories this season with only 11 actual players on this team. Like, we have 9-0 overalls. We're really doing the impossible. Okay, hold on. Just wait 1 minute here. This doesn't make sense. So of course we won 4 games this season. We didn't average a goal per game. We scored 75 goals this season. We scored 0.91 goals per game, and we won 4 games, 3 of them coming in regulation, and lost 2 in either overtime or a shootout. How on earth did we do that? Michael Misa led the team with 28 points. 28 points was good enough to help us win 4 games this season. Cade Lidstrom, 27 points. Roger McQueen, 25 points. Travis Dermott, you are an absolute legend here. Carter George had 3 shutouts. I didn't realize he had 3 shutouts. Who else did he shut out? Oh, I believe he shut out the Seattle Kraken, because we won that game in a shootout, I believe. Let me go double check that. I believe we beat them in overtime, so that wasn't a shutout. We beat the Montreal Canadiens. That wasn't a shutout. How did he record 3 shutouts? Oh, I'm stupid. One of the overtime games, we lost to the Seattle Kraken 1-0. But technically it's a shutout because he went all of regulation and all of overtime without allowing a goal. So technically that's his 3rd shutout, even though it doesn't classify as a win. But even still, 3 shutouts for Carter George this season. We're adding 4 new players to the team. We're on the brink of competing for a Stanley Cup now. So we don't have to worry about adding AHL players to the team because we're now adding NHL players. We're going to start with Utah because that was the first team we beat and the first team we shut out. And of course, I'm adding a goaltender. Vamelka, welcome to the team, 84 overall. If we're going to shut you guys out, I'm allowed to bring your goaltender to the team. We're moving on over to the Pittsburgh Penguins next. They were the next team we beat, and this is a no-brainer. Sidney Crosby, welcome to the team. The 3rd team we beat was the Montreal Canadiens, and we're probably going to bring Nick Suzuki to the team, but I actually might pass up on him because I think Cole Caulfield might bring a bit more. We need an elite sniper on the top line alongside Crosby, so that's who we're going to go with. And then to finish it out here, we're going over to the Seattle Kraken. We need a defenseman, and I got to go with St. Louis Blues legend Vince Dunn. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. So 4 new additions to the team, all of them being NHL players. We're probably looking at 10 wins now. Now this is what a couple wins does for your team. Sidney Crosby, welcome. Cole Caulfield, welcome. When it comes to the defense, Vince Vince Dunn's going to be our top guy here. And when it comes to goaltending, we got Vejmelka. But you know what? Carter George held it down for us, but we need an upgrade in between the pipes, and Vejmelka's going to be that guy. We're probably looking at 10 wins this season. That's going to mean 10 new NHL players added to the team. We might be unstoppable pretty quick here. And just like that, we're already winning games, taking down the Anaheim Ducks, a 5-3 victory. So that's one player already added. And I might have spoke too soon, because back-to-back victories, we took down the Devils, we took down the Philadelphia Flyers, we just took down the Buffalo Sabres. Yeah, we're going to have a complete team after this season. Now, the boys were absolutely flying this season. 11 wins for the Fresno Force. But you know what? I changed my mind on how I want to do this. Now, before, I was just going to add 11 new NHL players to the team. However, that's actually not going to be the case. We're only allowed to bring one player from each franchise. So even if we beat the Pittsburgh Penguins once again this season, we can't add another player from the Penguins. If we beat Montreal this season, we can't add any more players from Montreal. If we beat Seattle, we can't add more players from the Seattle Kraken. So we are allowed to claim one player per franchise. Hopefully we beat the Edmonton Oilers so I can bring in Connor McDavid. Now, we actually got really lucky this season with the teams we beat. So we beat the Anaheim Ducks. That's going to be the first player we're bringing to the team. Then we got the New Jersey Devils and Philadelphia Flyers. Two teams we haven't beat yet, so that's going to be player 2 and 3. Moving on to the Buffalo Sabres, that's going to be player 4. And then from the Winnipeg Jets, we're going to be adding player number 5. But this is where things get interesting. So we beat the New York Islanders, but we shut this team out. So that means we're going to be bringing Sorokin to the team. That's an absolute game changer. We got ourselves a superstar goaltender. Moving down to the Colorado Avalanche, we're going to be able to select a player from them. And then from the Boston Bruins, we can pick up a player from that team. So 8 new players are going to be brought to the team here, and they're going to be 8 game changers. So we're going to start with the Ducks, since that was the first team that we beat here. Troy Terry, you're the best overall player, so that's who we're going to go with. Actually, I'm going to pass up on Troy Terry. We're going to go with Jacob Trouba. We could use a good defensive defenseman on this team. He fits that role. The next team we beat was the New Jersey Devils, and we're just going to go with the best player, Jack Hughes. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. From the Philadelphia Flyers, I'm actually going to pass on Travis Konechny, and I'm going to go with Travis Sanheim here, an 87 overall defenseman. We need really good defensemen on this team, and considering some of the other teams we beat here, we're going to bring in some better forwards than an 89 overall. But you know what? I shouldn't say that, because we head over to the Buffalo Sabres. I'm passing up on Tage Thompson, and we're going with 92 overall Rasmus Dahlin. So we're building ourselves an elite defense already, but things are about to change with the forward core. Kyle Connor, welcome to the team, a 93 overall sniper. After beating the Winnipeg Jets, we took on the Islanders and we ended up shutting out this team, so that means we're able to bring Sorokin to the team. But now we're going to finish it off with 2 elite forwards, 2 of the best in the game. We're going to start off with Nathan McKinnon, 96 overall. Then we're going to head over to the Boston Bruins and bring 94 overall David Pastrnak to the team. There is a chance that we win a Stanley Cup this season, because we have all the pieces that we need. So with about 8 more NHL players joined the team here, our top 6 is looking phenomenal. We have Nathan McKinnon, David Pastrnak, Kyle Connor, Sidney Crosby, Jack Hughes, Cole Caulfield. That's certainly a top 6 you can win with. When it comes to the defense, amazing as well. Even our goaltender is absolutely spectacular. This team doesn't really have any weaknesses, outside of the bottom 6 though, because that's still not good. And the third defensive pairing, that's not the greatest in the world. So I think if we win a couple more games and add a couple more players to the team, we'll be alright. Alright, so I should have known this. We don't need a bottom 6. Our top 6 is so elite, we don't need a bottom 6. Second in the entire league, a 55-27-0 record. Now, I just want to point this out because I found this interesting. Now, of course, with every video in similar style to this, I always replace the San Jose Sharks, considering they're the worst team in the NHL overall wise. So that means there's 31 different NHL teams that the Fresno Force can beat. So far, we've beat 30 of 31 NHL teams. Guess which NHL team we actually haven't beaten so far in this video? It is the Columbus Blue Jackets. We have beat every team in the NHL except for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I don't know what it is. I know we only play them twice during the season just because of the way the schedule works, but you're telling me out of all the NHL teams available, the only one we're not going to beat is the Columbus Blue Jackets? That's interesting. That's all I can say. It's very, very interesting. The team's looking absolutely phenomenal. We're taking on the Colorado Avalanche in the first round, but we can't get comfortable here. Like, we might be winning a lot of games here, but that doesn't matter if that can't translate to the postseason. We're splitting the series with the Colorado Avalanche. Game 5 is going to be a big one. We're going to be able to steal that one away. Can we close this out in 6 games, or are we going to need game 7 to settle it? It looks like we need game 7. Just want to point out we were the second best team in the NHL, and this is a wild card team. A wild card team is putting on all the pressure against us, and we might fall to a wild card team. Shout out to Michael Misa. He's picking up big power play goals. Don't really know why you're on the power play. No, like seriously, why are you on the power play? That actually makes no sense. Okay, we don't need NHL players. We just need the junior guys. Denoye and Caden Lindstrom are picking up back-to-back huge goals in the third period. Cole Caulfield picked up a power play goal here, but no, it's our junior stars showing up for us. Can they show up in overtime though? Because that's where we need a big-time goal. It doesn't look like it, but David Pasternak will score the winner. Nah, shout out to all of our junior players. They won us that game right there. Now, like, real talk, shout out to those junior hockey players. Denoye, Caden Lindstrom, Michael Misa picking up big time goals. We're moving on to the second round to take on the LA Kings. We shouldn't be here. Like, the Colorado Avalanche should have been able to close it out against us. We're splitting the series with the LA Kings. We're moving into game number 5. We're winning that one once again. Just don't drop game 6 this time. We can't afford to go to another game 7, and we don't have to worry about it. We're moving on to the conference finals. We have the Utah Hockey Club up next. I don't think Utah's going to be able to stop us. We had a 3-0 series lead, but they made that a 3-1 series lead, and now we're in the Stanley Cup final, and the only team in front of us is the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're not losing to the Toronto Maple Leafs. What are we talking about? A 3-1 series lead. Close out in game number 5. We don't need a bottom 6 because we had a bottom 6. Michael Misa, Caden Lindstrom, Denoye, 3 big time players. They saved us in game 7, and now we're Stanley Cup champs. I'm sorry, but ain't no way in the big time games Michael Misa stepping up big time. He had 2 game winning goals. I wasn't expecting Michael Misa to do too much on this team, but he stepped up in the big moments. Caden Lindstrom, 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points. He had a game winner. He stepped up. Roger McQueen, 5 points. Denoye had 5 points. Matthew Ward, 3 goals, 1 assist for 4 points. That's the MVP right there. And the big time moments, of course, Matthew Ward's going to be stepping up. That shouldn't be a surprise. We had 6 point a game scores in the postseason, so it's good to see the entire top 6 showed out, and they actually literally did. Every player in the top 6 was a point a game in the postseason. That's what we needed from these guys. And you know what else we needed? Elite goaltending. Sorokin, 16 wins, 2 shots, a 914 to 272. Now it's very clear why we want a Stanley Cup here. The junior players stepped up big time, but outside of the junior players, who was the most valuable? Well, it clearly wasn't Michael Misa. It was the absolute legend in Matthew Ward. What a king. Without this man, we don't win a Stanley Cup.